that's unfortunately what was very strange to me, that Speaker Pelosi didn't have a security. Speaker Pelosi insisted for us to stay in the chamber, where I personally demanded to leave that chamber. So a lot of things, the other side dropped the ball, and it was very unfortunate for me to see that. So I think this is beyond the subject of this matter, but we need to stop, accusing people that disagree with the government that been very corrupt and oppressive, to actually come here and, express peacefully their dissatisfaction. And there are always some bad players, and who knows who they are, but we don't call all people insurrectionists. This is just un-American to do it, and I'm sick and tired of the other side constantly doing it, because I knew a lot of people that were there in the crowd, and they're good Americans, patriotic, that love this country. I want to make a couple brief remarks on just some of the issues that were brought up from other side, and then kind of get to the subject. No, honestly, I agree. Last Congress, the other side passed a lot of very bad bills. I don't think quantity of bills is a good legislation, and actually wasted a lot of money. And unfortunately, they had control on whole houses and presidency, and were able to do a lot of bad legislation and not dealing with real issues affecting Americans, crushing debt, inflation, and the spending, and and what's happening in our border is very destructive for our country. And they don't want to do, and they don't even want to find bipartisan agreement on these issues, this Congress, which is very sad for me to see. I know there is a lot of discussions about, January 6th, and I've been in the chamber January 6th, and I'll tell you something, we call this insurrection. I'll have to tell you, if the people that show up there wanted to do it, they would have succeeded, but they didn't show up for that reason. It was people that were upset, because the quality of people came there, they were mad because we are not governing for the people. And that's unfortunately what was very strange to me, that Speaker Pelosi didn't have a security. Speaker Pelosi insisted for us to stay in the chamber, where I personally demanded to leave that chamber. So a lot of things, the other side dropped the ball, and it was very unfortunate for me to see that. So I think this is beyond the subject of this matter, but we need to stop, accusing people that disagree with the government that been very corrupt and oppressive, to actually come here and, express peacefully their dissatisfaction. And there are always some bad players, and who knows who they are, but we don't call all people insurrectionists. This is just un-American to do it, and I'm sick and tired of the other side constantly doing it, because I knew a lot of people that were there in the crowd, and they're good Americans, patriotic, that love this country. But go further, I know that maybe, Chairman Issa said it might be a waste of time, and Hunter Biden is going to invoke the Fifth Amendment, but you know what? What he's doing right now, beyond that, it is a blatant disregard of congressional subpoena. That's how he does. He actually dares enough. No other American would show up actually in the face, of Congress and defy and say, I'm going to decide how things are going to happen. This is just disrespectful. Only someone who thinks a little too much of himself would go actually do something. People might disagree, fighting in the courts, but not in the face. As Representative Bishop said, that is actually extremely disrespectful to this institution to do what he is doing. And if we look at the matter of the fact, we can debate and try, to get attention to other issues and deliberate, but ultimately, I think that should be, and Representative Moran said that is setting up a very bad precedent. If the other side decide, that, somebody can just act like that with the Congress, they might shoot themselves in the foot, because next Congress, there could be something different, and they will be on the other side, because we're setting up a precedent, but somebody's going to decide if they're going to comply or not of the deposition subpoena. And I don't think this institution, should allow that happen. If, this is a very serious impeachment inquiry, if Hunter Biden wants to explain what's happened, he has a chance to come. And it's not like in a deposition you have just one side. You have both sides, equal amount of time. Everything can be questioned. So it's a very bipartisan process, but not a 5-minute presentation that will just go until he do just here for 5 minutes talking points with his lawyers. And it's not going to really get to the subject matter, because subject matter at stake, it's extremely serious. I think we should start taking actually impeachment inquiries and proceedings much more seriously than the other side did. It's not a politics, it's not a joke. We're a serious institution, and I do not think people think that way here now, and it's unfortunately what we became a circus, entertainment, and talking points and not really looking at issues seriously. It's sad for me to see, and I think this is a reflection, on where we are heading as a republic, and it's a sad reality. But we have to decide, are we going to be adults in the room and start looking at the issues, or we're just going to do presentations here? So I think if we go to the narrow matter of the discussion, do we allow anyone to defy the congressional subpoena? And the other sides will have to make a decision how they're going to vote for that. But they might regret that they're doing politics right now. So I hope they will rethink this and support in this resolution. So I yield back.
Who didn't? Who are they talking about?
The police.
No sense of urgency. Wow.
I don't care what it said. They should have a much more anticipation about the National Guard.
Members want this impeachment. Yes, Drew.
Going to the opening, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to put Henry on. Also in the room is Jamie Fleet and Terry and myself, and obviously Henry is going to go through the opening with you, okay? I'm putting you on speaker. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to start reading. Yesterday, the President of the United States incited an armed insurrection against America. The gleeful desecration of the U.S. Capitol, which is the temple of our American democracy, and the violence targeting Congress are horrors that will forever stain our nation's history. In calling for this seditious act, the President has committed an unspeakable assault against our nation and our people. I join the Senate Democratic leader in calling on the Vice President to remove this President by immediately invoking the 25th Amendment. If the Vice President and Cabinet do not act, the Congress will impeach the President once more. Justice will be done to those who carried out these acts, which were acts of sedition. To those who strove to deter us from our responsibility, you have failed. This assault did not divert the Congress from our solemn constitutional purpose to validate the overwhelming election of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Despite the desecration of our Capitol, we upheld in front of the country and the world the bedrock principle that the people are sovereign and that they hold the power to choose their leaders through the ballot. And those who fail to prevent the assault on our Capitol must be held to account. That is why I'm calling for the resignation of Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund. We salute all who sacrificed to keep members, staff, and the Capitol Hill community safe. But yesterday was a profound failure.
Wait a minute. Let me just say this. I think our focus has to be on the President. Let's not divert ourselves. We're going to have an after we do. I've never liked Sund. I think he should have been gone a long time ago.
Ma'am, the press is very focused on this. Schumer just now a political breaking news alert that Schumer is going to fire the Senate Sergeant at Arms.
I don't even know who that is. Yeah.
But it's immaterial. The heads are rolling is what we're saying.
Well, I don't want to have it on a par with the insurrection and the impeachment and the rest of that. If they ask, I will respond, but I'm not doing it on a par because it's a diversionary tactic.
Understood. So we can pull this card out. Henry's going to finish this card. We can pull it out for Q&A.
Okay. And then we can't say we will impeach him. We can say we'll call for it. We don't know because we don't have all the blue dogs with us on this subject.
Curious.
So let's look at the words. Okay, what else you got?
It is unconstitutional for any president to order the deployment of the military domestically. The law is crystal clear.
Posse comitatus.
Nailed it.
Right.
The president can make a request, and then the president can make an authorization, then there has to be a request. January 3rd or 4th, we're in the Oval Office, me, the SecDef, the Chairman and Joint Chiefs of Staff, the President and Chief of Staff of the United States. President Trump authorized up to 20,000 National Guards for across the country, not just D.C., for events related to January 6th. We said, Roger that, sir. That activated the chain of command. We went to Nancy Pelosi and Mayor Bowser since it's D.C. There has to be under the law, a local government
has to sign for it.
Request it. We went to her in person 2 days earlier. She said no in writing. I have Mayor Bowser's letter where she refused the additional support of the National Guard. The Capitol Police's memorandum, who report to Nancy Pelosi, that's also public now. The chief of police went to them and they said no National Guard. So President Trump could not do anything else on January 6th until those requests come.
That's all for today. Thank you.
If you want global news to keep you up to date on any new developments, please subscribe our channel and forward our content with your friends on social media and email. Thank you very much for keep supporting me. Stay safe, be blessed. Namaste.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.